Check out this video of a high-speed chase. This is in Texas. It ends with a crash. Authorities say two boys, one 15, the other just 12, tried to evade law enforcement while smuggling someone accused of trying to cross illegally. The shocking video highlights the issue of human smuggling at our border, which often involves cartels recruiting teenagers. But who is running those cartels? Correspondent Evan Lambert is live in Washington. Evan, you have a closer look at the cartel power structure.
Nichole, the men running the biggest Mexican cartels are also some of the U.S.'s most wanted fugitives. The power they have is immense, and the money that they've extracted from the drug trade, in some instances, in the billions. They pose the greatest criminal drug threat to the United States, powerful Mexican drug cartels, their tentacles now reaching into the communities across the country and world.
These ruthless, violent criminal organizations have associates, facilitators, and brokers in all 50 states, as well as in more than 40 countries around the world.
According to the DEA, they are the unchallenged kings of injecting drugs into America, sending heroin, methamphetamine, cocaine, and marijuana throughout the United States, using advanced transportation routes and distribution networks. Two cartels standing above the rest: Sinaloa, led by Ismael Zambada Garcia, or El Mayo, and El Chapo's sons, known as Los Chapitos. The former head, their father, the notorious Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. Sinaloa is one of Mexico's oldest and most influential drug trafficking groups, with strongholds in nearly half of Mexican states and operations in as many as 50 countries. It has a larger international footprint than any of its Mexican rivals. Ovidio Guzman, El Chapo's oldest son, also known as El Nuevo Raton, or the New Mouse, is considered the leader of the cartel's deadly fentanyl division, which made the cartel billions and likely pays for his collection of luxury cars and designer clothing. Both he and his father are in prison, El Chapo in the U.S., which is seeking extradition of his son, Ovidio, from Mexico. His other sons, Ivan Archivaldo Guzman Salazar and Jesus Alfredo Guzman Salazar, are on the lam. Then there is the Jalisco Cartel, an offshoot of the Sinaloa cartel created in 2010. Its boss, Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, or El Mencho. According to think tank Insight Crime, he's known for founding the cartel and building its prominence, and is considered one of the richest cartel leaders with an estimated $1 billion personal fortune, according to Univision. The DEA told the outlet El Mencho uses gold bars to launder money and once owned a ranch populated with a Bengal tiger and exotic birds. He's also accused of ordering several assassinations of Mexican politicians who wouldn't toe his line. The U.S. offering $10 million for his arrest, one of the highest bounties ever offered. Jalisco is among Mexico's fastest growing cartels, with operations in more than 2/3 of the country. U.S. officials estimate that it supplies more than 1/3 of the U.S. drug market. And Texas Republican Congressman Dan Crenshaw told the Washington Examiner yesterday he wants Congress to declare war on cartels. He plans to introduce a bill to expand the abilities of the U.S. to go after them, but it does not go as far as declaring them as terrorist organizations, as some further to the right are demanding. Nichole?
Okay, Evan, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.